Okay, I hope everybody had their Pepto Bismol because it was a wild roller coaster day, especially in the indexes. We had quite a range in the Dow, the NASDAQ, and these markets are testing their lower end of the range now. No telling what tomorrow will bring. Markets do not like change, and today was nothing short of an incredible change day. Every time you turned around, a new news announcement would come out. So we had everything jam packed in here. We'll take a look at crude in just a second. The euro sold off. Just tremendous up and downs today in the market. The NASDAQ sold off. It had rallied up. Crude again was the upside leader. We'll take a look at this, but we'll start here with the NASDAQ. Um, we came into the overnight session um, with this nice sell-off, and I was sitting here preparing my charts this morning when the CFIUS news came out, and I thought, okay, we're having a key reversal day potentially, so I'm mapping out my levels. This 7160 is the bottom of the gap down that started the sell-off, and so that was a very strong support level, resistance level. It got to the 7150 gap line, which we were, expecting 7150, and I was expecting then a bounce to go back in and touch that gap line. Well, it never bounced up. It rolled over, and then it just started flushing as the day ended. So we closed on our lows where the market's it's 3:09 p.m. So the markets are just about ready to close. The electronic trading cash session is closed. And so there was plenty to trade. Now, of course, it went sideways for a good part of this time, really from lunch 11:30 until 1:30, 2:30, and then it just went down a little bit after going sideways up and down. So a lot of people probably got creamed on this 70-40 level. But we broke the 7,000 level, and everyone was expecting when that 7,000 level, they're thinking these levels are like magic and all hell will break loose. Well, it did nothing because this other fib line was there catching it. So you have these algos selling it back up on this bottom fib line. It didn't even get down to the S3. So very technical trading, fib to fib trading, and that was from the fib range from yesterday. First thing I do when I come in the morning is put my fib lines on the chart. You can see it came down to this fib level in the Globex and bounced, went up to the 7150 and then came down to the lower one. And that's almost looking like a butterfly pattern or something, but and I'm almost going to say that's bullish. A Gartley or whatever you call those. Maybe somebody knows their butterflies more than I do. But we do have the potential to turn this around and get a huge rally out of it. Again, I warned everybody this is tariff week. The news is going to be terrible. Markets are going to sell off and yada, yada, yada. Don't lose heart. We're coming into earnings, so the market's going to pick the pace back up and probably blow it out of the ballpark, especially going into the end of July. We've got the GDP print coming out that everybody's expecting 4.5%, 5%. That's gonna propel the market like kryptonite, skyrocket it up. So everyone who's telling you that the market is oversold and there's nowhere to go, I'm like scratching my head. Well, there's nowhere to go but up. When have we had a 4.5%, 5% GDP print, people? That's the real stuff. So I'm going to be looking long. Well, I'll be looking at my screen. I've learned that. So I'm expecting to look long, but we'll definitely look at our screen. Here's the high-low one. And if you like to look at these reversal shorts, come in and try to pick something up at a support. This looks like it got batted around a little bit. But otherwise, when the market rolls over, that's what you want to do, is just get positioned in on some of these trades. Let's turn this over to the crude market and look at that, because that was amazing. They had a $10 million draw on their inventories, and nowhere near expecting this amount of draw, and the market just shot up. Now this is from yesterday, and here was today's session, the morning. Here was the EIA report. It actually sold off at the first, and then it turned around. So the move was largely over by the time the report came out. The bulk of the, got $1 out of it. The bulk of the move happened from yesterday. So there's some front running these numbers, obviously. And how they got the 10 million barrel draw, tanker trackers would like to know, because they're tracking every shipment out of Cushing and out of the Houston Ship Channel. And they're like scratching their heads. They're like, they think that they're fibbing or something. So hopefully they can figure that out. I'd hate to think that that was being manipulated too. But a great surprise for us today. Went from this bottom R1 at 71.42 almost to the top R2. Kind of stalled out at 73.03. Didn't quite make it up. But a great trade on that. Let's take a look at the euro selling off. Some really great, fabulous trading today. I mean, just fantastic ranges. And you never know that you're going to get, these wide ranges that just blow past the ATR levels tremendously. But when you get into this situation again, just go with it. If it sets up, here's the session today, just take your shots, right? Wait for it to turn over, and then just get in and either trade to a support resistance level, jump off. If you get another trade down to the next one. And I guess we need to look at the Dow, because that had another roller coaster like the NASDAQ, up and down, and we'll take a look at the 6E real quick, or the ES, I mean. But here is almost a mirror image of what we were looking at with the NASDAQ just a little bit. Here was the Globex. It rallied higher than the NASDAQ did, got above its prior day highs, and then rolled over. So about the same kind of market activity. So when it breaks out, this is the meat part, or you can put it on your one, but I like the all. And then again, here is the way to trade it, by either going short or your reversal short or your inflection short. That was kind of a deep retracement back here. And then another huge move from the close all the way down to S2 in the afternoon. And this was, look at the time period, the time stamp on this. From 1500 to 1501, that just dropped like a rock. So there's no way anybody could have gotten in on that. And then it was over. And then let's take a look at the ES. $7,200 or 2,700, I'm sorry. Again, people are equating these um, levels like they're magic numbers. Um, ES has been touted so much on 2,700 that, I guess they're going to consider the sky falling as soon as it closes below it. I don't know if that means a 5-minute close or a 15-minute close or a daily close or what they're talking about, but um, they're just levels. They get run over back and forth all the time. So, but so far that magic 2,700 is holding up. And again, same sort of price action as we saw in the NASDAQ, the YM, and the ES, Globex, and then rallied up on that CFIUS news, and then it rolled over. So that's all I have for you. It's going to be a wild day tomorrow. We've got the GDP first quarter print. Not expecting much on that. The numbers should be baked in already. We've got some unemployment numbers coming out tomorrow. So there will be a little bit, but I think the main thing is to keep our eye on the news. Anything to do with trade and or anything else coming out of Washington. I mean, there's so much news today that was broke. So I think that had a lot to do with it. Wall Street does not like change. So anything to do with change, they go into a tizzy. So this is, you can see red, white, red, white. This is just a choppy bottom, in my opinion. I think it's coming back up. I could come down first before it goes back up, but by the time July 1st comes around the corner, which is like next week, um, we're going to start seeing this market climbing because the company's earnings are going to start blowing out of the water. So as I showed everyone on these daily charts, you take a look back at the prior um, years of these earnings, and they sell off into earnings and then they rally. So I think that's all we're seeing. Personally, we'll see. I mean, things could come out in the media, but otherwise, with the growth in the earnings and with the growth in the GDP expected, there's no way the market's going to sell growth. So we're not done by any stretch of the imagination. We'll probably, get some stops below before coming back up, but that's, probably all it's going to be is just these stop runs. But then again, if it turns around and, shoots down, 5,000 points, I mean, we'll just have to go with what we've got. But I don't see any reason for that to occur, to tell you the truth. There's no reason for it to occur. It's just the algos are loose. That's all it is. They're running the algos, and once a trend starts, they start firing off one after another. And I think it's driving these ranges a little bit wider. So when you see a range set up like this, I think the reason that we're seeing these swing expansions like we are, it's just because the algos are loose. Who let the dogs out, right? All right, so come see us in the trade room, and we will talk at you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.